Thank you to the Senate Democratic Conference for giving Riverkeeper, who I represent, an opportunity to testify today on Senate legislative proposals. My name is Hudson. I'm the Watershed Program Director for Riverkeeper. We are actively involved in advocacy and public education surrounding the issues of shale gas extraction via hydraulic fracturing and its potential impacts on New York City's water supply. Legislative action on the issue of hydrofracking is imperative given the substantial flaws and omissions in the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation revised draft SGIS and significant gas industry exemptions that exist in New York state regulations. My written testimony focuses on 4 areas where legislative action is urgently needed, specifically a health impact assessment, the closure of a regulatory loophole that currently excludes the gas industry from hazardous waste requirements, clarification of home rule authority, and a moratorium on the issuance of high-volume hydrofracking permits for at least a year to provide DEC with the time necessary to address the serious deficiencies with the revised draft supplemental generic environmental impact statement. There is a significant opportunity for the Senate to act in concert with the Assembly with respect to at least 3 of these bills. The Assembly has proposed legislation, in fact passed legislation with respect to the hazardous waste loophole, and is considering legislation with respect to home rule authority and a moratorium. It would be a wonderful thing if you could act in concert with the Assembly. I would like, however, today to focus my limited comments, oral comments, on the need for an independent health impact assessment. Hydrofracking poses more than just environmental risks. It is a human health issue, and the New York State Legislature should mandate an independent health impact assessment on hydrofracking. DEC declined to include an assessment of potential health impacts in the scope of the RDSGIS that was prepared in 2009, despite the growing body of evidence across the country that shale gas extraction operations are making people sick. Residents living near shale gas operations have reported health issues ranging from dizziness, bronchitis, respiratory symptoms, to nausea, fatigue, headaches, anxiety, difficulty concentrating, and cancer. In March, a study from the Colorado School of Public Health found that cancer risks were 66% higher for residents living less than half a mile from oil and gas wells than from those living further away, with benzene being the major contributor to the increased risk. This same study highlights the fact that chronic exposure to ozone prevalent at gas production sites can lead to asthma and pulmonary diseases, particularly in children and the aged. The medical community in New York has warned the governor not to allow hydrofracking to go forward without understanding its health impacts. In October of 2011, 250 physicians and medical professionals wrote a letter to Governor Cuomo calling for a comprehensive public health impact assessment. In December, Dr. Sandra Steingraber, Lois Gibbs, and Fran Drescher echoed the call with 19 New York-based cancer advocacy groups in a letter to Governor Cuomo asking for the same assessment. And federal health officials, including the director of the National Center for Environmental Health of the Centers for Disease Control, has said that more research is required. And in fact, there has been a precedent for it in the Colorado health study and in one done in Alaska. New York has the opportunity to set the bar equally high as these other states when it comes to the health of its residents. Riverkeeper therefore strongly supports Senate Bill 6772, which would require the SUNY School of Public Health to undertake a health impact assessment for high-volume hydrofracking and suspend the issuance of all permits for hydrofracking until such an assessment is finalized. In addition, we would like to point out that a moratorium is necessary and linked with such a health impact assessment. DEC has indicated that it may finalize the SGIS as early as this summer. Such an action on DEC's part would be completely unacceptable given its State Environmental Quality Review Act obligations and the critical emissions in the RDS-GEIS that still need to be addressed. The governor has insisted that science will determine if New York State allows industrial gas drilling by means of high-volume hydrofracking to go forward. But he is breaking this pledge by failing to gather all the facts before making a decision. The legislature has the opportunity to slow down this process by putting a moratorium in place, which would allow DEC to address the serious emissions in the SGIS, including the failure to consider health impacts, address wastewater disposal issues, and economic impacts, which unfortunately I do address in my written testimony. I don't have time to address orally today. For these reasons, Riverkeeper supports Senate Bill 6261, which would suspend the issuance of permits until June of 2013, in addition to Senate Bill 6772, which would suspend issuance of permits until a health impact assessment is complete. Thank you, Senator Avella and Senator Krueger, for your leadership on this significant issue, and thank you for the Senate Democratic Conference for the opportunity to participate in today's forum. And we look forward to continuing to work with the Senate on this incredibly important issue.
I want